Um, it's very unusual for someone like me to stand here. I'm sorry. You know, this morning Pastor was saying that there are some families that things have just been bad, you know, from... I gave my life to Christ in secondary school. I was 11 years old. I didn't even know what I was doing. But I just knew that I wanted to be with God. And you know, somehow you grow up and you think that things will just work for you because you're a Christian. You know, like Pastor said today, you're just doing your own jeje, you know, and you think that that's going to be all. But the devil always has his own plans. And when life happens to you, sometimes I went from being a child who grew up in a house with a lot of servants, being escorted to school. My dad was a politician, and he made it, he was a deputy governor at the age of 37. And we lived good lives. As we lived a very good life until he died. We just thought that, okay, he just died. Until one other brother died, another brother died, another brother died, and my sister died. And we knew that this one was not just it. And then we got married, and you're like, your marriage is not what you think. And the bottom line for me was in 2020. At the end of 2020, when I lost everything. I lost my job, my marriage, my home. I lost everything. And I was so down. By the time I came for the first service in April at Dabra's Hotel, the first ever service, I was suicidal. I just wanted to die. I just wanted to end it. I was like, God, what? But you know, when Pastor came, I started praying. I just knew that this was where I needed to be. And I knew what I had to do. And then I picked myself up and I started praying. And things started turning around for me to the glory of God. I went from standing on a tall building and hearing that voice saying, jump. I would just hear a voice say, put your hand in open wires. Life just didn't mean anything to me. Meanwhile, I had 3 wonderful kids that God had blessed me with. And right from when I had them, I lay my hands on my womb and I just started praying for international study scholarships for them, even before they ever went to college or secondary school. And the first one happened. She got a scholarship. She went at the age of 15. She graduated at 19 with the first class. She already has graduated now in the UK. She's in Birmingham. She graduated with the first class as well from her master's degree. And she's on her way to her PhD now. She's settling down there. And then my son is in Canada. He also went on some form of a scholarship. But you know, for him, the scholarship was not very as much as it's supposed to be. And what I was paying at that time, it was supposed to be about 22,000 Canadian dollars, but I was supposed to only pay 7,000. But remember, I said I lost my job. Everything just went south, and I couldn't pay. So I missed some payments for him, and he had a backlog, and his study permit expired, and he was asked to leave the country. In fact, the school wrote to him and told him that you have so and so days to leave. You better leave or you're going to be sent back because your study permit has expired. There's nothing else you're doing here. And even if you don't have your transport money, we can pay you your airfare to go back. But I kept saying no because I was already here then. I said no. Every time pastor will come and say, oh, there's a dysfunctional child. I said, my child is looking dysfunctional, Father. Please have mercy. And I prayed. December last year, when my office was on break, I came here. Every time I would come here for NSPPD. And at the end of NSPPD, when pastor has finished and they've all climbed the altar and we lay down there and we keep crying. We'll do that. I'll be here sometimes 2 to 3 o'clock. I'll be here. I'll cry. For one of those days, I was the one leading prayers here. Everybody would bring their problems and we'll pray and we'll cry and cry and cry and pray. I said, this cannot happen to me. This cannot happen. Pastor kept saying, you will know what to do. It will not be by grace. It will by process. It will be by grace. And so my son called me one day and said, Mom, I want to write an email to the school. I said, okay, go ahead. And then he wrote and he explained everything to them. But my mom lost her job and all of that. And they said, okay, so how much can you come up with? And I said, okay, we're owing at the time 15,000 Canadian dollars. So I said, just tell them we can come up with 5. No, it was 15,000 US dollars actually. It was almost about 18,000 Canadian dollars. Tell them we can come up with 5,000 US dollars. At that time, I didn't even know where I was going to get it from. But they wrote back and said, okay, we'll waive up the 10,000 for you. Go and bring 5,000. The 5,000 now, where was I going to get it from? But this was on a Thursday. And he had until Tuesday to make the payment or he would be sent. In fact, the payment had to come back. So, of course, I kept praying and praying, and God just brought someone who helped me. We were able to pay. It was on that same Tuesday at 4 p.m. and the school was supposed to close at 5 p.m. So he went there. That was the last day. He made the payment. He got his proof of enrollment. He applied for a new study permit, and we're there. Now, I didn't come to give this testimony around January because when we applied for a study permit, the lawyer was telling us that they will not, it's not guaranteed. Because when your study permit expired, the next thing is just return. You are just wasting. Let me just pack and start coming. I said, no. I just kept praying. Pastor kept saying, every time he would declare, I would just keep declaring. To the glory of God, my son has a study permit. He has started school and he's doing well. In fact, in the process of waiting, he started a business. So he's also doing a business of his own and he's in school. And then finally, my third child, who she attended a Christian school here, Royal Family Academy. And I kept praying. I wanted her to go to a Christian school. And because they were affiliated with Christian universities at the time, they had, all this exchange and program. And at that year, class of 2019, she was the best graduating student from Royal Family Academy. And I said, okay, well, I needed that. So we got the scholarship, long and short, to Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And yesterday, she graduated with the first class. And this is somebody who, in between, there are times, yeah, that's my daughter. God did it for us. There are times when she will cry, she'll be in the hostel, she can't go to class because the chicken money, see, this education that my daughter had is $156,000 US. That's what it costs. If I paid money, I would have paid up to $20,000 US. Everything was scholarships. And because you had churches bringing in money, her name was always on the president's honor roll. Every year, every semester, we received a letter from the president congratulating her. And today, my daughter is a graduate in the first class degree. My joy knows no bounds. And that's why I'm so happy. Thank you.
What our God cannot do,